Instructions Rule 30. This is for case 2021 CR75. One of the main reasons for the law is to stop one person from injuring another person. And actually the case number it's in the appeals court right now, so the case number is different. It's been updated. One of the main reasons for the law is to stop one person from injuring another person. Constitutional law is superior to statute law and case law because constitutional law is fundamental and foundational. Now, did they disagree with that? Did Mike Gonzalez disagree with either one of those two sentences? Because these are my instructions as I see the law and as I understand the law and as I understand the events of September 17th, 2021. Even if they were to dismiss it at this point, I have been punished so fucking substantially, it's not even fucking funny. And when I think about why Robert Pickrell wasn't fucking picked up or arrested, his case was dismissed. Why was Jacqueline Mitchell's case dismissed? Well, she looked right into the DA's eyes and lied to that stupid bitch. Nah, I'm just going to lie right to your fucking face, you piece of shit, and say, no, nothing happened. And then really it was Mr. Man and get all emotional and stupid. So I don't know why. Maybe because she's a sexist? Because she's a sexist, because she's a psycho, and then she lied to defend Phil Greeny. Phil Greeny committed 50 to 100 stalking crimes against me. 50 to 100. And she fucking lied to cover his ass up. Sucked the fuck out of that dick. Still sucks the fuck out of all these dicks. If any one of these motherfuckers gave a shit about stopping crime, I guess I should ask them, how does a citizen of the SLV file a complaint? If the cops and the lawyers don't do it, can a citizen just file a complaint directly? And they'll have to say no, and they would be absolutely incorrect on that. So, but that's the SLV way. Only cops and lawyers have a say-so around here, and maybe their friends and somebody who's sucking their dicks, and that's it. The elements of Class 5 felony menacing statute CRS 183206 are, number one, that the defendant in the state of Colorado on September 17th, 2021, in Costilla County has, by verbal threat or physical action, he knowingly placed or attempted to place another person in fear of imminent serious bodily injury by the use of a deadly weapon, and that's 1 through 7. So again, 1, that the defendant, 2, in the state of Colorado on September 17, 2021, in Costilla County has, 3, by verbal threat or physical action, he knowingly 4, knowingly 5, placed or attempted to place another person, 6, in fear of imminent serious bodily injury, 7, by the use of a deadly weapon. Now, a lot of the elements are the same, and so if you don't put the elements of self-defense via Article 2, Section 13 in it, that the defendant in the state of Colorado on September 17th, 2021 in Costilla County used his legal right to bear arms in order to knowingly defend his home, person, or property, then that means it's not fucking fair. They're basically saying, okay, you're allowed to say that person over there is guilty. So Mike Gonzalez is guilty of official misconduct. He's guilty of official misconduct. I made the accusation, so he's just guilty. We don't need to ask for any cross-examination. We don't need to ask for the evidence. If I'm a police officer and I got a badge and a gun and I go arrest him and I throw him in jail, we don't ask any questions whatsoever. He's just guilty because I kidnapped him. Once I kidnap him, well, then he's just guilty right there on the face of the whole thing. Now, both of these are important to compare and contrast because the elements are similar, but they're very much different. In my instructions, they didn't put knowingly, and they didn't put imminent serious bodily injury. I put knowingly and imminent serious bodily injury. What is knowingly? Well, knowingly is this. Knowingly or willfully. All offenses defined in this code in which the mental culpability requirement is expressed as knowingly or willfully are declared to be general intent crimes. A person acts knowingly or willfully with respect to conduct or to a circumstance described by a statute defining an offense when he is aware that his conduct is of such a nature or that such circumstance exists. A person acts knowingly or willfully with respect to a result of his conduct when he is aware that his conduct is practically certain to cause the result. So, using the elements of the case, I didn't specifically know about felony menacing, so you have to look at the elements of the case, because I'm the one that fired the warning shots, and I fired it from behind my house. He said he wasn't even scared at me chasing him, sprinting at him, shooting at him. He wasn't even afraid. It wasn't until he went to the house and he's delivering it, and then I videotape him, and then I drive around. It was the attitude. He said it was my attitude afterwards that scared him. Well, that's important because that means that if he wasn't afraid, then that means that if he wasn't afraid, either A, I failed in, the defendant failed in his endeavor, or something else is going on. Knowingly trying to scare people just to scare people, that's not what the fuck I was doing. I do have a videotape of a guy clicking his gun on the side of his truck, on the side of his SUV. Now that's actual felony menacing. I've seen in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he had a pistol in his waistband, and then when the landlord came by, he just kind of started stretching and kind of like, sort of indicating that he had a gun. And so that's felony menacing. To use a gun to try to scare a person, to go rob a person, to say, get the hell out of here, you. Just to scare a person. We have reasons. We have law. Why are we allowed to have a gun? Well, it comes out of the Second Amendment. It also comes out of Article 2, Section 13. The elements of self-defense is, I just use the language of Article 2, Section 13, that the defendant in the state of Colorado, September 17, 2021, Costilla County. Nobody argues with the two top sentences. It's these next sentences. By verbal threat or physical action. That's also very expansive. That's at the very top. Here, used his legal right to bear arms. Yeah, I bared arms in order to knowingly defend his home, person, and property. That's precisely what I did. I read Article 2, Section 13. There's Article 2, Section 2, which is a right to revolution. I didn't intend for the 3 warning shots to be revolutionary. They may actually turn out to be revolutionary. These motherfuckers are so against victims' rights, it's not even funny. They are trying to cover up so many fucking crimes for their Nazi buddies, it's not even fucking funny. If the juror believes that the case against the defendant meets all the elements of felony menacing, then you must convict him, unless if the juror believes that the defendant meets all the elements of self-defense via Article 2, Section 13, then you must acquit him. Well, we didn't even give any of my instructions. They went ahead and they said, here's the elements of felony menacing, and they didn't mention knowingly, and they didn't mention imminent serious bodily injury. So they said, did by verbal threat or action, did he try to place another person in fear of some kind of injury by use of a deadly weapon? I wish I had the verdict form right now, but they cut out 2 of the main elements. Imminent serious bodily injury, that's another thing. Imminent serious bodily injury, since he said that he wasn't afraid of me, he testified that I'm chasing him, which is horse shit. I'm off to the side of the house and I had the gun straight down. When he passes by me, I pull the gun straight up and fire 3 warning shots from behind my house after he's out of my line of sight. Now, why did I do that? Well, because when he pulled up, he was driving slow enough that he started enticing my dogs to go to I'm in the backyard, but he's driving so fucking slow, like such a fucking piece of shit asshole, like a Nazi fucking motherfucker. Like, my dogs are running to him. So my dogs are running to him, and I'm telling him to get the hell out of here, and I'm shouting, get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here, just yelling and pointing to the Sangre de Cristo Mountains in the east. He doesn't see a 6-foot man yelling, telling him to get the fuck out of there with 5 fucking dogs, and then later on he's going to say, oh, I definitely saw him chasing me, sprinting after me with the fucking firearm. Piece of shit motherfucker. He's lying through his teeth, and I don't even understand what fucking ego, what would you act like, what the fuck would you have to lose if you just said, you know what, let's just drop these charges, drop all this, let's just go home. I feel like the dude's already been, punished enough, and he also said that he didn't want me to have jail time, and Kelly offered me a couple of anger management classes, so none of these motherfuckers actually believe any of this shit is big enough or serious enough to warrant, a awful punishment when they're using their, common sense and being somewhat decent, maybe, I don't know. But if you think that I was just trying to scare him and place him in imminent serious bodily injury by shooting a couple warning shots from behind my house, you're stupid. You're dumb. From behind my house is 300 feet. From behind my house is 300 feet. So that's not imminent serious bodily injury. And then people say, well, you can't, discharge it unless you feel like an imminent threat. Well, as far as it was imminent is how far the warning shots was. So I wasn't up in his face, and maybe I should have arrested him. Maybe this would have turned out if I would have just citizens arrested him straight up, because that's the only alternative that I had. I should have chased him down and then made a citizen's arrest. Get out of the car. No, get out of the car, and then just tie his hands up and then drive him to the jailers. This guy jerked his steering wheel and he tried to run over me and my dog for no damn reason. No goddamn reason. But I didn't chase after him. I stood right next to I was pissed because he's coming back, and it's like, who the hell are you and what the hell are you doing? Why were you fucking with me to begin with? And then when he comes back, he's still driving slow, but he didn't really do anything at that point. When he jerked his steering wheel, he was laughing at me, and he jerked his steering wheel. The people that killed Tecumseh laughed at me. They thought it was hilarious. White males murdering your puppy. Oh, that's hilarious. You love that puppy, right? Do you love your wife and children too? You came here to find a wife and raise a family. You came here to get a career and a wife and raise a family. That's not what these Nazi sons of bitches are up to. That's not what they fucking want. And plus, there's all the other crimes. You want to get me raped for 6 fucking years? Are we going to go arrest those bastards for, the actual crimes that they committed? Because I definitely was a citizen of Colorado in doing Article 2, Section 13. You think I wasn't defending my home, person, and property? It was my home and my person and my property. So really, if you live in Colorado or America, you should be very much, or Costilla County, the San Luis Valley, if you're a citizen, if you're a civilian, and you don't know these authority fucking figures, and you fire your gun in defense of home, person, and property, they very much could just fuck you over. Say that you did something else, put some other charges on you, and even if you're totally in the right, totally fuck you over. Even if you're Anne Frank, even if you're J.C. Dugard, you got kidnapped. J.C. Dugard got kidnapped. Was she guilty of, that's right, they're perverts, and that's why they kidnapped J.C. Dugard. They're probably the same reason for Anne Frank and Frederick Douglass. These perverts want to control your mind, body, and soul. That's my mind. That's my body. That's my soul. And so it makes no sense. That's the Michael Gonzalez standard, though. Michael Gonzalez, if you couldn't show him the evidence, and he's not going to fill out the arrest warrant by a citizen. It's got to be a lawyer or a cop. And if you're a citizen, fuck you and fuck your, everything about that. Fuck you, fuck your family, fuck out your property. Fuck everything about you. Your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Fuck it all. If you're a citizen, a civilian in the SLV, and you go up to a judge and you try to convince him that a crime had occurred, he isn't going to do shit. The only way that you can get the judge on board is if you could get the cop on board. If you can get the cop on board and the cop makes an arrest, well, then the prosecutor and the judge all of a sudden sees the crime. Oh, yeah, there is a crime. It's right there. There's the crime right there. After the kidnapping, after they got the body. But if it's up to them to make the determination or for them to go and get the body themselves, they're not going to arrest anybody. And are they going to put any pressure on the cops to do their damn jobs? Not if they don't know you or like you. They need to know you beforehand. If you're a cop, 100% every fucking thing you do. If you're a lawyer, 100% everything you do is just right, proper, and good. Here's instructions number 2, definitions. Man, I went through CRS and so much reading of all the different definitions. This is some really good shit. I defined person, I defined witness, I defined restorative justice practices, I defined serious bodily injury versus bodily injury. I defined deadly weapon, material evidence, I defined presumption of innocence, preponderance of the evidence versus beyond a reasonable doubt, specific intent versus general intent, imminent and knowingly versus recklessly versus intentionally. Now that's important because, again, not only am I the defendant, so this would be, my theory of the case, my theory of the law, but this comes straight out of CRS. This comes out of Title 18 and Title 16. And so you have to allow the defendant to offer instructions to his theory of the case. You have to. Yeah, your theory is that, this person is goddamn fucking Jeffrey Dahmer or some shit, right? Some fucking terrible. And the way motherfuckers act, I went to those assholes beforehand, and you think they lay in bed, you think their conscience fucks with them? Do you even think they got a conscience? Schultz, fucking Soto, Quintana, you think any of these motherfuckers, damn, he went to us first. No, he said crimes were happening to him. We didn't do a fucking thing. We didn't investigate. We didn't canvass. We didn't ask a single question. We made no arrest, and the accusations were worse than a couple warning shots. But you're a bunch of bitch-ass scared motherfuckers. You can't be convinced by Joe Blow citizen. Oh, you're just a citizen? You're not a cop? Well, then we can't even hear a word you say. Can you put the pieces together, you stupid motherfucker? And a part of it is, why don't you just do your goddamn job? Do your goddamn job. That's the thing about gangsters, I guess, is like they're ready to not only tell you to do your job, but they're ready to to swing on you. When I went into jail, that guy says that he swings on cops. That's what he does. And I remember at the time saying that I wasn't ready. Well, I'm not there yet. You swing on cops? And even though that's a scary proposition to swing on cops, he could get shot up one day, but those cops back the fuck up because it's like, oh shit, we might get hurt. They arrested me because I respected them. I respected planning and zoning. I respected the cops enough to call the police when crimes had occurred. I respected the police enough to go talk to them when they said that crimes, that they thought I did something. Because I've respected these bitches all the way, from the beginning to the end. They've been nothing but punk-ass bitches. They don't believe in the golden rule. They don't believe in treating others the way that they want to be treated. Michael Gonzalez objected to the golden rule. I'm not allowed to ask about the golden rule. You don't believe in the golden rule, Michael Gonzalez? Jesus Christ, if you come to my fucking neighborhood and a bunch of Nazis were shooting at you and then you fired a couple warning shots, I would ask a bunch of fucking questions. And I'd pursue all the criminals, all the people that criminalized you. Even if I thought shooting warning shots was wrong, how the fuck could I ignore somebody trying to assassinate you 8 times? 39 shots? You're going to make a big deal about 3 shots fired behind the fucking house that hurt nobody. Meanwhile, I'm got bullets flying over my fucking head. And then with subpoenas, he needed a first and last name. But all you need is a general description if you're trying to, file complaints. But I got first and last names. And I got fucking photos and goddamn videotape and a lot of evidence. I called 911 before. If you're trying to say, oh, he's just trying to get out of this shit. It's quite interesting that Jacqueline Mitchell could just get out of it by being a lying piece of shit. No, he's the one being mean to me, really? Well, tell us more. Tell us more. Well, you get out of here, you. If they give a shit about who's the bad guy and who's the good guy, they would have asked tough questions of every person. They would have got all 4 of the eyewitnesses in there and the material witness, and they would have asked tough questions of the cops, and they would have asked tough questions of all the witnesses. Instead, they didn't give a shit about the truth. No, the cops kidnapped you, so we're going to take a lie and force feed. We're going to force it down the throats of the jurors. We're going to take a lie of a liar, a known liar. He's filed false accusations in the past. You ever heard of thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor? You ever heard of that? Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. I'm more Christian than all these other Christians, but essentially I'm picking up, and you know what? I was better than these Christians when I was Christian. I actually listened to Jesus. They didn't give a goddamn fuck. But the golden rule is logical. You're good to me, I'm good to you. You're shitty to me and you commit a crime against me, then I commit a crime. Then I get to do what you did to me. It's equal. It's eye for an eye. Eye for an eye is justice, and the golden rule is how that's goodness. You treat others the way you want to be treated, and you don't hurt other people. If people show you goodness, you be good back. If they show you badness, you match their energy. Unless you got no morals. And if you don't have any morals and you're not reading the law, what do you got? What do you got? You're just a psychopathic piece of shit. You just find out whose dick you're supposed to suck and just get into the fucking hierarchy. Material defined. Constitutionally, it means evidence when taken and evaluated in the light of the entire record likely would have affected the outcome of the trial. A lot of material evidence was not allowed in the fucking trial. A lot of fucking evidence. For one, the videotapes of all the crimes. I got, Kenny Capin clicking his gun, driving. That's felony menace and caught on tape. They don't even have that on me. They got a lying piece of shit, and they got me driving away. So I got people driving away to and from here and there and every fucking where. I got photographs. I got videotape of them, fucking caught right there on camera. Caught, with their pants down. Caught. It's clear as fucking day. I want to say red-handed, but red-handed, I think it's like racist or something, isn't it? But fucking caught right there on videotape. Clear as day. Prima facie. Right? Clear as day. It's obvious. That motherfucker is committing a crime. It's right there on videotape. And videotape is self-authenticating. So you can't question it. So they got evidence of crimes of occurring, but they're not issuing an arrest warrant and they're not getting the cops to go arrest anybody. No, I'm not just trying to get out of it. That's Jacqueline Mitchell. That's Robert Pickrell. You know how he got out of his crimes? When I called Schultz, he just stayed inside of his house. So when I talked to the cops, my mistake was going to planning and zoning, calling the police, and talking to the police when they were outside. Don't engage with these pieces of shit. These stupid bitches, they'll think that they are all high and mighty and then they're so much smarter than you. Even if you don't do anything wrong, they'll figure out some reason to not fucking like you. They're fucking assholes and they're trying to fuck you over. Presumption of innocence. Every person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. No person shall be convicted of any offense unless his guilt thereof is proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Look at all this work, too. You think they thank God. You know, he really respects Colorado and the San Luis Valley. He really respects Costilla County. Look at all these laws that he read. He read our rules, and then he was compliant with our rules. He was moral. He was neighborly. He was decent to everybody. The analysis of felony menace and instructions comes from the 1989 Crump decision. So where did I get the language of the Class 5 felony menace and statute, the 7 elements? It comes from the Crump decision. It comes from Colorado case law. My God, this is so much respect for the state of Colorado. At or about the date and place charged by threat or physical action, knowingly placed or attempted to place another person in fear of imminent serious bodily injury by the use of a deadly weapon. I used the basic framework of Crump's 1989 instructions, and I just, changed it a little bit, and I explained how I changed it. Here's just a quote. Justice Quinn, he wrote the opinion of the 1989 Crump decision. The people appeal from a ruling of the district court construing the crime of felony menace as defined by section 18.3206, 8B CRS 1986 to be a specific intent crime in keeping with its statutory interpretation. The district court instructed the jury that the mental culpability requirement of the offense was a specific intent to place another person in fear of imminent serious bodily injury. We hold that the crime of felony menacing is not a specific intent offense, and we therefore disapprove the district court's statutory interpretation and jury instruction. So, okay, I mean, that's one interpretation. Now, I use that, and put it in my thing. Now, there's a couple other definitions here. I don't want to... Let's read serious bodily injury and imminent, and then maybe restorative justice practices. And then we'll read some restorative justice practices. Okay? So, imminent. What do we got with imminent? Imminent is whether the threat is a question of fact. So the jury need to, ask the question, did Jonathan Masters, was he imminently threatened, and didn't he imminently threaten back? Because I'm 300 feet away and it's birdshot, the threat is not imminent. Even if you were to interpret what the fuck he was saying, that I'm sprinting at him, running at him, I'm still 300 feet away. Which is bullshit. He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking liar. And that's another thing. We're going to take the fucking testimony of a liar and shove it down everybody's throat. That's who Ann Kelly is. If a cop kidnaps you, then the whole fucking system just fucks you the fuck over. And I've lived in America for a while, and I've had other experiences. Nothing like this. I've never taken the case by myself all the way to the fucking jury trial by myself and then to the appeals court by myself. I've never done this at all. I've danced around different things. I've done some things. I've been in court and I had to get a lawyer, and my lawyers always fucked me over. And then when I stood up for myself, then I started, winning my stuff. So I think that judges and cops and, society just respects a man who stands up for himself. You get some piece of shit, bitch-ass lawyer, he don't want to return, he don't want to come back. And if the judge is actually trying to get justice or trying to get the truth or something, it's like the judge isn't playing the game of the lawyers. And they're gung-ho about me getting a fucking lawyer, then they're gung-ho about me testifying. Both of those were to fuck me over. They're piles of shit. They are piles of fucking shit. Alonzo Payne, he tried to get me a lawyer. Why? Because if I get a lawyer, I said I got Jim Dostal. He announces, we're going to get him now. Now we're going to get him. Don't worry. We're going to get a deal. We're going to get a plea bargain. Now he's fucked now. Why? Because I got Jim Dostal? That's Alonzo Payne. Alonzo Payne was known as giving sweetheart deals to everybody. Dismissing that case and this case, but he wants to fuck me over that fucking bad. Why? Why does he want to fuck me over that fucking bad? I mean, he's the same as fucking Ann Kelly. These pieces of shit are the exact fucking same. I smile at them, I'm kind to them, and they're like, oh, well, he's nice and kind. Well, we could rape the shit out of his life, and since he's nice, well, he won't even say anything about it. Like Anne Frank, huh? Just be compliant and go get syphilis and die in a concentration camp. The question whether a threat is imminent is in all but the clearest of cases to be decided by the trier of fact after considering all the surrounding circumstances, including the defendant's opportunity and ability to avoid the harm. People v. Mays, 1978. People v. Spear, Colorado Appeals, 2007. The officer is not required to retreat. A police officer who is assaulted by one whom he is lawfully attempting to arrest is not required to retreat to the wall before resorting to such defensive measures as may reasonably seem necessary to protect himself against the loss of life or great bodily injury. Boykin v. People, 1896. So that's important because I was doing a private police action. If my warning shots didn't stop his craziness, he jerked his wheel, he slowed down, he was laughing, being a piece of shit, threatened me and my dogs. That's exactly what the fuck he did. Now, if he kept doing that, but he didn't. I fired a couple warning shots, but my next steps would have been to arrest him. My next steps would have been to, lawfully arrest him. So, if I'm a police officer, nobody questions me. That's another thing. If I'm a police officer, let's say I drive by Soto Cruz's house and I did a bunch of drive-bys, I've ran over his damn dog, and I keep on fucking with him day in and day out, and then now my other buddy has got a big rig and then he drives real fucking slow and he jerks his fucking steering wheel. Soto Cruz doesn't know what's happening, fires 3 warning shots straight up into the air. Does he go to jail? Well, he's a cop, so that means he's like not just a citizen, he's like above all the citizens or something, right? He's got a license to kill, license to fire warning shots, license to go rape whoever the fuck he wants to rape. So if he fires a couple warning shots from his house, we don't even fucking question it, do we? Nobody gets arrested, and we all get to live our lives. And then we probably thank him, too, like, shit, yeah, he was probably fucking with you, right? We're going to pretend that what you say is right and true, and he was probably fucking with you, so you had to do what you had to do. And then again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Just reverse the damn thing. Reverse the damn thing. If I was part of a gang of people doing drive-by shootings on Soto Cruz and Keith Schultz, if I'm sitting there doing drive-by shootings against him every day, fucking with him, murdered his fucking puppy, and just every day stalking the living shit out of him, and then me and 4 other guys with long guns go and kidnap Soto Cruz, and then take $5,000 out of Soto Cruz's pocket. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you don't think that, why would you not think that's okay? For me to get 4 other fucking guys with AK-47s and kidnap a fucking criminal motherfucker? No, he committed a crime. He fired a couple warning shots. No, people drove by his house and I know the guy who drove by his house and the guy's lying, so I'm going to believe this guy's lies. And Soto Cruz, nah, you're lying. I don't like you, so I got 4 other guys to kidnap you, and now I'm taking $5,000 out of your pocket. What a bunch of thieving bitch-ass pieces of shit. Meanwhile, let's compare me to Robert Pickrell. Robert Pickrell moves into Costilla County and says, fuck you, Susie Lucero. Fuck you, Michael Gonzalez. You fucking lick my ass, bitch. I come in here and I'm not going to pay for planning and zoning permits. And this lawful man up here, I'm going to commit crimes against him. He paid for his permits and he's polite and he's kind. Oh, he don't fight? Well, shit, that's an easy lick. That man's by himself. He's good and honest. And he don't fight. He's not like a gangster going around. He's just a regular American citizen. Well, then that means he's got no gang affiliation. He's got the cops backing him up. Then he's got nobody. That's an easy lick. So Robert Pickrell comes in, says, fuck you, Susie Lucero. Fuck you, Michael Gonzalez. Fuck you, cops. I'm not going to obey your stupid-ass laws. Not only am I not going to obey the planning and zoning laws, I'm going to go around doing drive-by shootings on people. I'm going to sit there and fuck with people's dogs, help cover up the crimes of killing people's dogs, spotlighting people in the middle of the fucking night, day in and day out, stalking, drive-by, tailgating, lying, yeah, I'll watch over your place, and then when you come back, there's a motherfucker right there. Why do you got so many problems in Costilla County? Because the criminals get away with every fucking thing. If you're lawful, you get fucked over. If you call the cops, you get fucked over. If you go talk to the police, you get fucked over. If you respect the state courts and the state system, you get fucked over. But if you're Robert Pickrell and you say, well, you pieces of shit are goddamn criminal motherfuckers. Now you're evil. You're evil. I'm going to be here. I'm going to build my house, and I'm going to get my house, build it as quick and best as I can, and then I'm going to, commit crimes in the neighborhood, and then when the cops are called, I'm just going to stay inside my house. So you don't have any evidence. That dumb cop is going to eventually fuck you over. Now I'm going to keep on harassing you, so that way you keep calling the cops, and then eventually the cops just arrest you. Because fuck you. They never investigated. They didn't even ask. I got it on videotape. I got this shit on videotape. So, when we go to the federal courts, I'm going to ask them, how come, why didn't you ask any questions? You didn't think